Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something right now. The less you care, the more he wants you. Now, I know some of y'all sitting here like, Steve, that don't make no sense. If I care less, won't he just walk away? No, baby. Let me break it down for you. Because men are wired a certain way. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something. When you show less desperation, men value you more. Now, I know that sounds simple, but the truth is, most people don't really understand how deep that goes. See, men and women think different. A woman will often think, if I show him how much I care, if I give him all my attention, if I prove I'm always there for him, then he'll see how much I love him and he'll never leave. That sounds good in your head, but let me tell you what happens in reality. It backfires because men don't chase what's already sitting in their lap. When a man sees desperation, he don't translate that as love. He translates it as easy. He translates it as, I don't got to work for this. I don't got to bring my best self. She going to accept me no matter what I do. And the minute he knows that, the value of what you're giving drops. It's human nature. Think about it. If somebody hands you something for free every day, eventually you stop appreciating it. But if you got to save up for it, if you got to earn it, if you got to put some sweat into it, then when you finally get it, you hold on to it tighter. That's exactly how men operate with women. Now, showing less desperation doesn't mean you got to play some game or act cold-hearted. No, it's about holding your self-respect. It's about saying, I got my own life, I got my own joy, I got my own standards. It's about refusing to center your entire world around a man who hasn't even proven he deserves that spot yet. When you carry yourself that way, you send a message without even speaking. If you want me, you got to come correct. If you want me, you got to show up right. If you want me, you got to earn me. And trust me, men respond to that. I'll tell you a story. I had a friend. She was a beautiful woman, smart, funny, everything. But she had one problem. She always cared too much too fast. She'd meet a guy, and within a week, she's rearranging her schedule for him, canceling plans with her girlfriends, always available whenever he called. Guess what happened? Every single time, the man got bored. He stopped calling as much, stopped trying, stopped putting in effort. Then she'd be sitting there heartbroken, wondering what went wrong. What went wrong is she gave him the prize before he even broke a sweat. Compare that to another woman I knew. Now, she had it figured out. She liked the man, but she wasn't desperate for him. If he called, cool, she talked. But if she already had plans, she wasn't canceling nothing. She kept her standards, kept her life moving, kept her priorities straight, and let me tell you, that man chased her like she was gold. Why? Because he felt like he could lose her if he didn't stay sharp. She wasn't going to beg him. She wasn't going to wait around. She wasn't going to settle for crumbs. And that right there made him rise up. Ladies, hear me when I say this. The man you want is not attracted to desperation. He's attracted to dignity. He's attracted to strength. He's attracted to the woman who carries herself like she's the prize, because that's exactly what you are. And the moment you start caring less about proving yourself to him, he starts caring more about proving himself to you. That's the balance. That's the secret. When you stop running after him, you give him space to start running after you. When you stop rearranging your whole life just to please him, you force him to step up and make space for you in his. And when you stop showing desperation, you show value. You show that your time, your energy, your love, they are worth something. And men deep down respect what they got to work for. So remember this one thing. When you show less desperation, men value you more. When you show less desperation, men value you more. The truth is, when somebody feels like you are always available, always waiting, always giving without even being asked, they stop seeing it as special. That's just how the mind works. If something comes too easy, it gets taken for granted. A man doesn't sit up late at night thinking about the woman who never tells him no, who never sets a boundary, who never makes him wonder where she stands. He thinks about the one who makes him work, the one who knows her worth, the one who's not just handing her whole heart to anybody who shows up. Desperation pushes a man away because it feels like pressure. It feels like you're trying to buy his love instead of letting it grow naturally. And when you act like you can't breathe without him, instead of drawing him closer, you make him feel like he's losing his freedom. Nobody wants to feel trapped. And when you overcare, that's exactly the message you send. But when you show a little space, when you show that your life is full, whether he's in it or not, suddenly you're no longer an option. You're a prize. Men can sense the difference immediately. That distance doesn't mean you don't care. It means you care about yourself enough not to hand over your peace and dignity for free. And that right there makes a man pay attention. Now let me connect that with something powerful. Men are natural chasers. That's how we wired. A man values the pursuit. He values the process of working for something he wants. If you look at little boys, they race each other, they wrestle, they fight to win. That spirit never leaves. As men, we're hunters by nature. We're drawn to what feels rare, to what doesn't come easy. If it's sitting right in front of us with no challenge, we may like it for a while, but we won't respect it. But if we got to chase it, if we got to earn it, if it feels like it might slip through our fingers, if we don't give our best, then we lock in, we focus, we bring our A game. And ladies, that's why when you act like you're rare, when you live like your time and attention are valuable, a man can't help but chase harder. It's not a trick, it's human nature. Think about diamonds. They're small, but they're rare. You don't just find them lying around on the street. You got to dig for them. You got to put in the work. And because they're rare, they're priceless. But imagine if diamonds were scattered all over the side like gravel. Nobody would care about them. That's the difference between a woman who gives herself away too easily and a woman who knows she's rare. The rare one makes a man step up. Now here's the twist. When you combine both these truths, they become powerful. Show less desperation and you instantly raise your value in a man's eyes. And because men are natural chasers, that value triggers his instinct to go after you, to try harder, to win your heart the right way. That's why women who set boundaries, who don't jump at every call, who keep their own lives moving, they don't lose men. They attract better ones. The men who walk away from them are the ones who never intended to put in effort anyway. But the men who stay, they're the ones who see her as rare. The ones who say, I better not mess this up because I might not find it again. That's the difference between being taken for granted and being cherished. It's not about playing games. It's about living with self-respect. A man who knows you won't settle, who knows you don't need him to complete you, who knows you see yourself as the prize, he won't treat you like an option. He'll treat you like treasure. And all of that starts with two simple truths. Desperation lowers your value, and rarity makes him chase harder. When you show less desperation, men value you more. The reason is simple. If you act like you can't live without him, he won't see you as valuable. He'll see you as replaceable. Desperation feels like pressure. It feels like begging, and no man responds positively to that. A man feels drawn to a woman who carries herself with confidence, who makes it clear her life is full and meaningful, even if he's not around. It's not about being cold. It's about being balanced. When you care for yourself as much as you care for him, when you stop chasing and start choosing, suddenly he looks at you different. He respects you because you respect yourself. And that ties directly into this next truth. Men are natural chasers. They want what feels rare. If you hand yourself over too quick, if you're always available, always adjusting your schedule, always answering every call in 2 seconds, he doesn't have to put in any effort. And when there's no effort, there's no reward. Think about it. If you walk into a store and something is just being given away, you don't value it. But if you've been saving money for months, if you've been dreaming about it, working for it, planning for it, when you finally buy it, you cherish it. Men cherish what they work for. They are wired to chase, to pursue, to earn. That's why a woman who lives like she's rare keeps a man locked in. She's not out here begging. She's not out here settling. She's not out here giving away her worth for nothing. She's the diamond in the rough, and that makes him chase. Now let's add the third piece to this. Overgiving and overcaring can make him take you for granted. This is where so many women make the mistake. You think if you pour everything into him, he'll see how much you love him and he'll never leave. But let me tell you something. Sometimes the more you give, the less he appreciates. Because when you overgive, you teach him he doesn't have to earn anything. You teach him he can put in minimum effort and still get maximum benefits. And the sad part is, instead of feeling lucky, he starts feeling entitled. He starts believing that's just how it's supposed to be. Think about this in everyday life. If somebody cooks for you, cleans for you, does everything for you, before you've even proven yourself, you get spoiled. You stop saying thank you. You stop noticing the effort. It's not that you're evil, it's just human nature. You get used to it. That's what happens in relationships. When you overcare, he stops caring. When you overgive, he stops giving. The balance gets lost. And then you sitting there wondering why he doesn't treat you the way you treat him, when in reality, you trained him not to. But here's the flip side. When you pull back a little, when you stop overextending yourself, when you give only what's deserved, he wakes up. Suddenly he realizes, hold up, she's not doing all that anymore. I better step up or I could lose her. And that's when he starts appreciating you, because he sees you're not desperate, you're not easy, you're not just giving away your all. You've got standards, and he knows he has to rise up to meet them. These three truths work together like gears in a machine. Showing less desperation raises your value. Men being natural chasers means they'll pursue what feels rare, and not overgiving keeps them from taking you for granted. When you live by those principles, you don't have to beg for love, you don't have to chase after it, and you don't have to prove your worth. You just stand tall in who you are, and the right man will see it, respect it, and do what he has to do to keep it. When you show less desperation, men value you more. Desperation has a certain energy, and it pushes people away. A man can feel it when you're sitting by the phone waiting on him to call, rearranging your schedule just to fit into his, giving him all of your attention before he's even earned it. That doesn't make him think, wow, she loves me so much. It makes him think, I don't have to try. I don't have to step up. She'll accept me no matter what I give. And once he feels that, his effort drops. But when you take a step back, when you keep living your life, when you're not desperate for his approval or validation, suddenly you're not just another option, you're a prize. Men don't value what's desperate. They value what's dignified. That ties straight into this fact. Men are natural chasers. They want what feels rare. If something is sitting right there waiting on them, they don't chase it. They may enjoy it for a moment, but they don't hold on to it. Men lock in on what they might lose, what feels like it requires effort, what stands out from the rest. That's why the woman who knows her worth, who doesn't beg, who doesn't hand herself over too quickly, she becomes the one a man pursues the hardest. Men want to win. They want to feel like they earned it. And when you position yourself as someone valuable, rare, and not easy to get, you ignite that natural instinct to chase. Now, let's bring in the third truth. Overgiving or overcaring can make him take you for granted. A lot of women think, if I just pour everything into him, he'll never leave. If I just love him harder, he'll see my value. But here's the problem. When you do too much for someone who hasn't earned it, they stop appreciating it. Instead of gratitude, they develop entitlement. They start expecting it like it's normal. And when something becomes normal, it starts being special. That's why so many women feel unappreciated. They gave so much, they thought it would bind him closer. But instead, it made him lazy. It made him careless. It made him assume she would never leave no matter how little he gave back. But when you stop overgiving, when you give at the level of what's deserved, it shifts the balance. Suddenly he realizes your love is not automatic. It's not guaranteed. It's not unconditional no matter how he acts. He realizes he's got to step up and match your energy if he wants to keep you. That little shift can wake a man up quick because men respect what they work for and lose interest in what's just handed to them. And the fourth piece, which ties all this together, is that confidence and self-respect are more attractive than neediness. A man doesn't fall in love with a woman who clings to him like her life depends on it. He falls in love with a woman who stands tall on her own, who looks in the mirror and knows she's enough, who doesn't have to beg or compete for attention. Confidence is magnetic. It says, I know who I am. I know what I bring. And I don't need you to complete me, but if you step up right, I'll let you join me. That type of energy makes a man chase, makes a man respect you, makes a man think twice before taking you for granted. Neediness, on the other hand, drains attraction. If you're always checking on him, always afraid to lose him, always sacrificing yourself just to keep him happy, you don't look like a partner. You look like a shadow. And shadows don't inspire love. They inspire control. But confidence makes him step his game up. Self-respect makes him want to protect what he's found. And when a man sees both, he knows he can't play with you because you don't need him, you choose him. When you combine these truths, they form a clear picture. Less desperation makes him value you. His nature as a chaser means he wants what feels rare. Overgiving only makes him careless, while balanced giving keeps him where. And above all, confidence and self-respect will always outshine neediness. When you show less desperation, men value you more. The biggest mistake people make is thinking love means proving yourself, showing up every second, and making sure he knows you're always available. But when you do that, you don't look like a treasure, you look like an option that's always sitting there waiting. And men don't place the highest value on what's guaranteed. They value what they could lose. If you want a man to truly respect you, you can't present yourself as someone who needs him to breathe. You have to stand on your own and let him see that being with you is a privilege, not a rescue mission. Now, the reason this works is because men are natural chasers. That's how we're wired. Since childhood, we've been competing, running after what we want, trying to prove ourselves. That instinct doesn't go away when we grow up. Men are hunters, and hunters aren't drawn to what's lying in the open. They're drawn to what feels rare, what feels valuable, what looks like it can't be caught easily. If a man doesn't have to work for you, he won't stay for long. The chase is part of what makes him attach, part of what makes him invest, part of what makes him respect the outcome. A man loves to feel like he earned what he has. And when you carry yourself like a rare prize, he will chase like his life depends on it. But here's the danger. When you start overgiving or overcaring, you cancel out that instinct. Instead of letting him work for your attention, you hand it all over for free. Instead of letting him prove himself, you're already doing everything for him, sometimes before he even asks. And instead of feeling grateful, he gets comfortable, he gets spoiled. He starts expecting your effort as if it's his right, and before you know it, he's taking you for granted. This is why so many women feel unappreciated. They gave everything thinking it would hold him close, but it only made him lose respect. Because a man doesn't value what he didn't earn, and overgiving teaches him he doesn't have to. That's why confidence and self-respect are more attractive than neediness. A woman who believes in her own value doesn't have to chase, doesn't have to beg, doesn't have to overdo. She knows who she is, she knows what she brings, and she refuses to settle for being treated less than she deserves. That kind of energy is magnetic. It makes a man look at you differently because he knows he can't play with you. And the truth is, every man secretly admires a woman who has standards. Neediness makes a man lazy, but self-respect makes him step up. Neediness drains attraction, but confidence multiplies it. When you show that you are whole without him, that you choose him but you don't need him, that's when he wants you the most. And then there's this final piece. Sometimes you need to pull back. Pulling back doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you stop carrying all the weight. It means you stop trying to control how the relationship goes. It means you create space. And when you do that, something powerful happens. That man starts thinking about you. He starts missing you. He starts realizing how much of his life is brighter when you're around. The silence makes him reflect. The space makes him chase. The absence makes him value the presence. That's why they say distance makes the heart grow fonder. It's true. When you're not always right there, he has to imagine life without you. And that thought alone makes him want to come closer. So when you put it all together, the formula's clear. Don't be desperate. Be valuable. Let him chase, because men are built to chase. Stop overgiving, because that only makes him careless. Walk in confidence, because that's what keeps attraction alive. And don't be afraid to pull back, because sometimes Silence speaks louder than any word you could say. When you show less desperation, men value you more. The moment a man feels like you can't live without him, like your whole world is wrapped around him, his respect level drops. Not because he's cruel, but because desperation takes away mystery, takes away challenge, takes away the idea that he has to do something to deserve you. If you keep your dignity intact and don't chase after him, that's when he realizes he has something valuable. The reason this is true is because men are natural chasers. Since we were boys, we've been wired to go after what we want. Men don't want what falls into their lap with no effort. They want the chase. They want